Competitive. That's all you need. All right, this is Sport for Real with Coach Hall. Trying to thaw out a little bit. Woke up this morning, it was 30 degrees. Had to go to the doctor's office, take somebody there. So I'm sitting here waiting. But running a little late. And as you know, when the temperature drops below 30 degrees, if there's any moisture out there in the air, it's going to cause ice to form on your windshield. Well, must have got lower than 30 degrees because you had ice on all the damn windows. And running late, don't have anything to chip the ice off the windows because this is not something you deal with on a normal basis. So figured it out, found a little something with a little wire in it, and ran some water on the windshield, and finally got scraped off. Got to the doctor's office about 10 minutes late, but that's okay. We got here. So now I'm just in here waiting. Meantime, talk a little football while we wait on our medical patient to come from the appointment. So anyway, this is MLK holiday celebration. Actual birthday was Thursday the 15th, so keep that in mind. I don't know why they do things the way that they do, but been a great morning to sleep in, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But I had to make sure I came on today because I was going through it with the Bears fans last week, and you tell me this and you tell me that, and the Bears are back, and I didn't want to hear all that. Huh? Hold on. What is that? You couldn't have like that in the first place. All right. So as I was saying, I was going through with the Bears fans, and they told me, as soon as the game was over with, you make sure that you come online. Well, I did that. And I want to make sure everybody knows that if the Bears had won, I would have still came on early just to make sure that I stood behind what it was I was saying. JC, how you doing, man? Happy MLK Day to you. Filipinas, Tagalog, Bong Bong says hello. How you doing, Tagalong? So the guy that mainly I was talking to was Mr. Carter. I'm not coming to stick it to him. I'm just calling to let him know that I was going to be here whether the Bears won or lost, and I was going to stand up to what I had to say. Unlike A.J. Brown of the Eagles, talking all that trash about this and that. He's not getting the ball, and hell, when they threw him the damn ball, he didn't catch it. And then afterwards, he won't even stand up to the media. I won't do you like that. So, as you know, the Bears, I almost pulled out another one last night. Caleb Williams turned into Caleb Williams of old, the Heisman winning Caleb Williams, throws that miraculous pass to Komet, score a touchdown with 18 seconds left to push the game into overtime. Well, the Rams got to stop. Not the Rams, but the Bears stopped the Rams in overtime. Then they turned around and got the ball, and all they had to do was kick a field goal. They were moving the football. Then Caleb Williams throws one deep, and it gets picked off. The Rams take it down, and they almost score a touchdown too, but they kick a field goal, the walk-off, and they knock off the Bears. Now, I thought that the Bears were going to get blown out because when you keep winning close game after close game after close game, especially when you have to come from way behind to do it, normally that spells disaster, and you get blown out. Well, the Rams didn't blow them out, but they knocked them off. So are the Bears a legitimate team? It seems that way. Can they keep the momentum going? Because, when the Bears have had a good team the last 20 years, they have a good team, and the next year they won't do nothing. And they come back the next year, In this fourth year, they won't do nothing. So what the Bears need now out of Ben Johnson is consistency. Caleb Williams will learn from this, and he'll get better as he move on. And the guy had a great year. Might get comeback player of the year if that exists for a second-year player. But the guy on the other side, Matthew Stafford, is probably going to win the MVP, and he played like it. And like I said before, that cold weather don't mean a damn thing. When it's time to play for a championship, it could be -15. You can put the clothes on to go out and play. It ain't going to stop a thing to a championship team. So if you from Green Bay or Chicago or any other cold place counting on some warm weather team to come in there that you know you could beat, it ain't going to happen. All right, JC says I got New England over Denver. Denver quarterback is out, and I got Seattle over the Rams. Seattle defense will control the Rams. Well, last time the Rams played Seattle, they were up by 16, and they blew that. And they had won the first game that they played. History tells me in the NFL, when a team blows a big lead, one or two things are going to happen. The team that came all the way back is going to find a way to continue to do what they did to come back from 16 and possibly blow out that team, or that team that was up 16 going to realize what they did to blow that lead, fix that, and turn around and blow their ass out. So I think what's going to happen is the Rams are going to beat Seattle. They're going to pull away from them. And you may be right on that, JC, with the quarterback being out, but Jarrett Stidham, he's capable. It's not like Bo Nix was setting the world on fire. So I'm thinking I like Denver as an upset. So we're going to go with the Broncos, and we're going to go with the Rams. I thought sure that Buffalo was going to the Super Bowl, but circumstances just don't seem to work out for Buffalo. That guy caught the ball, hit the ground, and as he hit the ground, the guy steals the ball from him. Normally, when there's a tie, it goes to the offense. So evidently, the ball must have popped out as he was rolling over, and he got possession of it, and they gave it to him. Now, I don't have a problem with the call that they made, but the problem I do have is that they call those two-pass interference. Well, normally this time of the year, they let defenders play. And that was evidence on the previous drive before Denver got the ball. They had clear pass interference on Buffalo, and they didn't call under the guise that they were letting these people play. Well, you didn't call it then, but then you turn around and call it on the Bills. I wonder if the league even wants the Bills to have anything to do with making it deep into the playoffs, because it was obvious. If you call that interference on Denver, then we're talking about a different game. Now, Josh Allen apologized to his team for blowing the game, and basically you're talking about the turnovers he had in the first half to allow them to fall behind, but he brought his team back. He's not the reason why they lost the game. It's a set of circumstances that led to them losing that game. And just so happened it just didn't bounce his way. Some guys, things just don't work out for them. But if you look at the overall body of work, Josh Allen is not hurting at all. He's doing great. They're going to rebuild, fix some of the holes they had this year, and they'll be back. Now, I don't know about the coaching staff. I saw a report that one of the coaches was retiring. I don't know if that was McDermott or not, but I think McDermott is a little bit too young to retire. So I got to look deeper into who's going to be retiring from the Bills. But I expect the Bills to be back. It just wasn't their time again. And a lot of people calling Allen saying that he's not championship worthy. He can't get it done when he has to. There may be some truth to that, but, what can you say? TL Mill 45 says this NFL season sucks. I want to cry when Bears lost. Well, you had to be happy, T Mill, that your team at least turned it around and make it to the playoffs, and you didn't get blown out. So you were a worthy playoff team, and because you're a worthy playoff team, a bounce here and a bounce there, you could have been making it to the Super Bowl, man. But if you're going to cry over this, how would your reaction be if you made it to the Super Bowl and lost? New England like to see you in the Super Bowl after whipping you put on them in Super Bowl 20. They like to pay their favor back. And the Bears did give it a good shot. Uh, I see Selmo popped in. What's going on? Browns going to the playoffs for sure. Well, I think you might be a little bit delusional there, Selmo. Um, he'll get to the playoffs one day, but I'm not sure it's going to be next year. Um, Pittsburgh is in flux right now, so if you're going to get us, this is your time to do it. We don't know who our coach is going to be. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. So, hell, your playoffs might just be getting by the Steelers. And that might be worthy enough for a lot of fans there. Um, um, I think G Cole will decide if they make the playoffs next season. I heard Stefanski got a job. I don't know what. I think he signed with the Falcons. I got to double check on that. But I know he got a job somewhere. And JC Udinski is their guy. He's in Cleveland today for an in-person interview. That's the guy from Jacksonville, right? But if someone looks at me wrong today, my feelings hurt. Man, let me tell you something, man. When I was a kid and the Steelers used to lose, I wouldn't give a damn if it was regular season. I was hot, on the verge of busting, crying. But then I realized one day, hey, I'm not on this team. I'm not seeing any money from the Steelers, whether they win or lose. So what the hell I'm about to cry for? It don't make no damn sense. So ever since then, as a kid, I realized, yeah, I like this team and I identify with them all and all that, but I'm not fixing to cry or get bent all out of shape because they lost, unless I had some money on them, and I'm not silly enough to do that because all these guys are they just don't show up like they should, and when you go to depending on one to do something, that'll be the time that they let you down. So I try not to put no money on them. But what I did do, Selmo and JC, I played a parlay the other day, and it seemed like to me hockey might be my better way to go. I had a 13 parlay, and I had all 12, and it came down to one damn thing: Vancouver and was it Detroit? Vancouver and somebody the other day, and it was a plus 6.5, and I just played the goals. All I needed was extra goal. Vancouver was down 6-0 early in the third period, and I'd be damned if nobody else scored again. Normally, there's an empty net goal that happens in the NHL, but this night I didn't get it. So I got all the way to the end, and they didn't get that extra goal, so it cost me $1,500. And on top of that, they normally offer you buyouts or early cash outs. The highest I saw was like $40. But if they would have been honoring like they normally do, I should have been able to cash out for at least $400 or $500. But they didn't do me like that. A lot of people get cash outs, but a lot of times I don't. And when I do get them, it's only for like $40. And you'd be mighty sick if you cash out for 40 and then your bet would have come through and you lost all that money and you got scared and sold out for a few bucks. So I didn't sell out, but I ended up losing and didn't get nothing. But I was one goal away from winning that one. And one of these days, I'm going to keep putting, I only put $1 on it. So I'm not really hurting. But if I put, say, $5 on it and I get up to 15, shit, I'm going to hit one day for about 15,000. And I'm coming right on here and tell you guys about it. All right. Is Watson supposed to be on active roster for Cleveland next year? Yeah, he could have been activated this year, but they decided not to do it. And the question is, what are they going to do with their quarterback situation? So the first thing this Cleveland quarterback, new Cleveland coach comes into is the same thing that Stefanski was dealing with. What are they going to do about this damn quarterback? Well, I think that Gabriel and Sanders, I don't know if they have long-term contracts or not. One of them probably is going to get moved, and nobody really wants Deshaun Watson's contract. So he's going to be in the competition next year to win that starting job. So it would not surprise me at all if Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback for the Browns next year. Now, if they find somebody that they can ship him off to, it'd be a good move for everybody because it gives Watson another fresh start. It gives the Browns fans a fresh start. And the confidence and the emotional levels would change a little bit on all sides. But if he did come back, it wouldn't be a bad thing because there's nothing wrong with his arm. It was his legs, the ACLs, uh, Achilles that messed him up. So um, it's not going to hurt him very much. Okay, that's what I thought. Stefanski got the Atlanta job, and he should do a good job down there, and it's not a bad fit. I would have thought that Harbaugh would have been a good fit down there too, but he'd rather be the Giants coach. He's in that fishbowl up there in New York. He'll do better than what they've been doing. But if he goes up there and lays an egg that first year, what will the Giants do? They paying him $20 million a year to be their coach. So I think Harbaugh is going to be fine. Stefanski will be fine. He's got a quarterback issue in Atlanta also. Look like Tomlin's going to sit out a year, go to TV, and if he wants to coach again, he'll come back in 27. That way, he'll be free of constraints from the Steelers. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if Tomlin just stayed in TV. Don't even worry about coaching no more. All right. Nobody wants the Cleveland job. That's not true. It's an NFL job. Even if you don't be successful there, it's an opportunity to lead your own team. So anytime that you can get a head coaching job anywhere or any level, you want to take it. And all these privileged people talking about they won't take the job, that's not a lie. Because if you're that great of a coach, you telling me wherever you go, you're going to be successful. And we know that's not the case. So if Cleveland offer you the job and you don't have another head coach job lined up, I would suggest whoever you are to take it. All right, Kirk Cousins is QB1 in Atlanta right now, but they don't know what they're going to do with Cousins. Cousins is the guy's got the touch of gold. Wherever he ends up is going to be the right place for Kirk Cousins to make the most money. Penix, I noticed last year when he throw passes, he's great as long as nobody's around it. But when you start to get close to him, he gets a little skittish. And he was bouncing passes to people, and nobody ever said anything. I mentioned it a couple of times, but I never heard nobody on the broadcast say anything about him bouncing passes. Now that he's got hurt again, it's now coming out that he's not comfy taking snaps under center. Well, that's because he's in closer proximity to the defense, and he don't want that because he's got a history of injuries. He's injury prone, and the more the defense gets close to him, the more skittish he's going to become. So maybe the Falcons will realize that, and they need to make a decision on what they're going to do with Penix. So we'll see about that. All right, Larry Strickland, how you doing, man? What are you going to do with these refs taking pay to rig these games? Buffalo got robbed. I will agree with some of that because the series before they started calling those pass interference on Buffalo, there was a clear pass interference they didn't call. I thought they was letting them play because it's playoff time. Then what do? They turn right around and they call the damn interference on Buffalo. Now, were they interference by law? Yeah, they were interference. Well, you didn't call it on Denver, so why are you calling it on Buffalo? Now, if you're referring to the pass that the guy stole, that was questionable. It wasn't clear that we could see the ball, but when he hit the ground, it had to pop up for that guy to catch it as he was rolling over. So I think when he hit the ground, he lost control of the ball enough as the guy was just happened to be rolling over and he ended up with the damn ball. So that's the receiver fault on that. But those pass interference calls, got a big problem with that, man. And I had mentioned that before you came on. So I don't know, man. Do I think Indiana will blow out Miami tonight? If Miami can't run the football, they got a problem. Miami is predicated on controlling the clock. They got the kind of defense that can control Miami's offense. And I think Kirk Cignetti is smart enough to not kick it to those small, quick guys because they can take it to the house at any time. That Malachi Tony guy. You don't want to. I'm not kicking to anybody. So if they're dumb enough to kick it to them and give them an opportunity to make a big play, and Miami is able to run the football, then Miami has a good chance to win this game. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to get blown out, but if they show up and they can't control that line of scrimmage the way they did against who's that they beat last game? Whoever they beat last game in the Fiesta Bowl, they controlled the clock. And that was allowed them to Ole Miss. They controlled the clock on Ole Miss. They had the ball 40 minutes. If they're able to do that tonight, then they have a great chance to win that game. But if they play like they've been playing and they can't control the clock, then Miami's got a big problem. Now, we still haven't seen Indiana play bad. They could have a bad game. I mean, they're not guaranteed. But if they play the way they've been playing, throwing that football, and Miami can't run the ball, then I say, yeah, Indiana will blow them out. At least cover that 8-9 point spread they gave them. But it's up to Miami. Can you control the line of scrimmage? If you control that line and people think they have the capability to do that, then they can stay in the game. Other than that, it's going to be tough sledding. Why didn't they review it? You talking about the pass interference call again? They did review the one where the guy rolled over and took the ball off that deep pass completion. But I don't know why they didn't review it. But like you say, I think because those replay officials are in contact with New York, they're pretty much controlling what's to take place. And that's why I had a problem with the NFL, because if it's pure, let the referees make the call. Why do I have to get on the phone to talk to New York to get a decision on the call? That makes me think there's some rigging going on here. So I agree with you there, Larry. The Rams will win. Stafford will have more rings than Rodgers and Breeze, and he'll arguably better Hall of Famer than Eli Manning. Well, I don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Fame player, personally. I don't think his dad is a pure Hall of Fame player. The only one that should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, is Peyton. Peyton is a bona fide Hall of Fame player. Archie came along, and he got the nickname Lovable Archie and all this kind of crap, and he played for losing teams. But if you look at what he really did, what did Archie Manning do in the NFL? Look at stat-wise, what did he do? He didn't break any records. He might have made the playoffs once. He definitely doesn't have any championships. What did Archie Manning do? They want him in the Hall of Fame. They put him in the Hall of Fame. It's their league. Eli had a better career than his dad. He won 2 championships. Well, other than the 2 championships, what did Eli Manning do? And both of those were upsets. All he's really doing is managing the game. So my question to you, does every quarterback that won a Super Bowl, are they worthy of being a Hall of Famer because they won a damn Super Bowl? Who's making these categories? But Peyton, bona fide Hall of Famer. Hands down, there's no argument about what this guy did. But Eli, Archie, not so impressed with him. I really like your commentary. You're the best. Appreciate it, Larry. I should have been doing this years ago. I went to school for journalism, but I never actually applied for a job. And next thing you know, it's 30 years later. I should have came out with YouTube when they first did it 20 years ago, but, you get tied up doing other things. So now I'm getting a little older and slowing down. Now I want to do my journalism thing. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to go and get me a reporter job somewhere and maybe end up on radio somewhere. So you're running to me somewhere in the next couple of years. Maybe I get me a NFL reporter job so I can bounce around city to city and talk to the fans. I got a good concept with this thing called Fango Media, and I'm going to try to expand that to a way that I can bounce around from city to city and monetize that. If that can be done, then that'll be the wave of the future. But I appreciate the compliment. So you don't think Stanford career is better than Rodgers? No. Aaron Rodgers had a great career. Stafford had a great career, and he won a championship late. But I don't think just because you got more championships, that don't mean you're the better player. Trent, what's his name? Trent Dilfer's got a Super Bowl championship. He doesn't have Hall of Fame credentials, but there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that does have that Hall of Fame credentials without the championship. So you can't say just because you win a championship that you're a better player, and you could have just been on the damn team. That doesn't mean you're a great player. All great teams don't have great players in every position. It's impossible for that. So I would say that when they say sports commentators are calling Josh Allen a Hall of Famer, No, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Right now, I think to be a Hall of Famer, you have to stand up when it's time to stand up. And he's fallen down the last couple of times he had a chance to get over that hump. So I don't think Allen is a Hall of Famer. All right, but Stafford, his career is almost as good as Rodgers. But if he wins another championship, he come back next year. He's going to get the MVP this year, and I would say his career is on par with Stafford. I mean Rodgers. So it's very possible. Why are you crying? I'm not crying. It's cold here, and I have high eye drainage. That's why my eyes run like that. But no, I'm not crying. Um, Nice meeting you. I'm Kevin from Indonesia. How you doing, Kevin? Low quality ball here. Yeah, that's me. This is the same guy that was on the other day. He's good for a laugh. He don't bother me. But anyway, I came on to talk to Mr. Carter for the Bears. Mr. Carter for the Bears. He said that you make sure that you're on Monday after the Bears win. But even if the Rams had lost, I still would have came on just so I could talk to Mr. Carter to make him know that I stood by what I was saying. I felt like the Rams were going to beat the Bears, even though the weather was supposed to be 6 degrees or whatever it was. That didn't make a difference. I've seen teams go into Green Bay when it was frozen. So it don't make a difference where you play. The cold is just something to get into your head. If you get bothered by it and you let it bother you, then yeah, you're going to lose. And even when it gets in your head, that home team is going to have to make a play to win the game. If you go back to the Ice Bowl when you had the Cowboys playing Green Bay, the -15 or whatever it was, that didn't even count wind chill. Bob Hayes running around with his hands in his pockets, in his pants. Didn't look good. So it still took a miracle for the Packers to come back and win that game. And that's supposed to have been their kind of weather. So it don't matter where you're from. All it takes is 3 hours. You go out there and execute, get inside and get warm. That's all it takes. Who would get coach of the year, New England coach or Chicago coach? Well, I think New England coach probably get it because he's going farther than what Ben Johnson has done. James Madison, Indiana changed the game with the play style is better than that go-go style everybody else running. What do you mean? Old style football? What do you mean, Selmo? I've seen Indiana. They're going to light you up. And all they're doing is taking what the defense is giving them. But they tell me that Indiana's got an old team. They're much older than everybody. And that's the excuse everybody's saying why they're so good, because they got a much older team than everybody. Now, that may play some part in it, but if these guys are eligible to play, I don't think it makes a difference. It's just an excuse people have to take credit away from Indiana. And if they come out and play the way they've been playing, they're going to win this game. And even if they struggle, if they have a chance to get the ball in the end with one chance to win the game, they're going to win the game. Miami chance comes down to can they run the football and control the clock. I don't think they're going to be able to just stuff it down Indiana's throat. Carson Beck's going to have to stand in there and he's going to hit some passes downfield. They're going to have to get some plays on special teams, and that's going to allow Miami to keep in the game. Now, one thing Miami does have is speed. They're going to try to get into those passing zones to try to disrupt the passing routes. They're claiming that they have the secondary to do that. Now, here's the thing about Miami. They've been seen on film. That guy Scott, he wants to jump routes and try to pick it off the way he did against Ohio State. So they're going to be looking for that. They may even run a play to suck him out of position and throw it right behind him because you have a desire to step in and try to get a pick six. And if he tries that, they're going to have a play designed to hit behind him. So it comes down to this. If Miami is able to establish a line of scrimmage early and they can slow Indiana's offense down, then those are the two keys right away to determine what's going to happen in this game. But But do I expect them to beat Miami 56-22 like they beat Oregon? No, I do not. I expect them to. I think they can beat them by 10 points. I think they can cover the spread, but I don't see them beating them by 30 points. The only way that happens is Miami cannot run the football, and Indiana is able to convert consistently. If that happens, then it's gonna be a long night. I don't want to see that. I want to see a good game. All right. Okay, play scheme. Yeah, they got some good play concepts, but monkey see, monkey do. Um, a good place to go find some good play schemes is go down to the Pop Warner levels. Those coaches be drawing up some crazy stuff, and that can be used on different levels. So just because it's not a higher level, don't think that it can't be effective. If you got better players running crazy plays, crazy things can happen. All right. I think Tomlin should only come back as an executive. He's got his pick of the things he wants to do. I think that would be a lot less stressful on him to be an executive. But if your heart is really set on coaching, then you're going to be on the sidelines. But my experience with coaching is once you take X amount of time off and you start to stretch out and get into other things, then you may not be back on the sideline. Now, in my case, they're trying to pull me back. I am the baseball coach in my high school, and we're practicing now. But the thing about that is there's no money for coaches in the state on the public school level. They're trying to change it where coaches make a lot more money. Now, if the coaches do get the pay raises that everybody's talking, and they're talking like somewhere equal to what you would get if you were getting a minimum wage of like $15. That would take a 2,000 average football supplement up to around 11,000, and a head coach would be making somewhere around 22 or 23,000. That would make a big difference. I come off the sideline for that. Now, let me clear this up. It's not about the money. It's about the time that you put in. And I could be making money doing other things away from that. And I don't want to be under somebody else's time constraint as an assistant coach when the average coach, Ike and Mike, they're doing the same damn thing. For instance, my coach, he wants to play John Madden. He wants to throw the ball 100 times a game. You ain't got no quarterback. You ain't got no line. And you put your defense out there when you can't score. So you're putting yourself in a position where you're down 28-35-0, and you don't understand how that's possible. Well, it's possible because you can't play video game football for real. That's why. And I'm not going to be out there on the sidelines going to practice when I know what's about to happen. Oh, hell no. I can't do it. So if that's the way it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. All right. Calumnium Production says, I have a question. Well, as long as it's tasteful, I answer it. What you got? But anyway, I just think that these conference finals are going to be great. My early picks, the Rams get by the Seahawks. And I think that Denver, despite not having a quarterback, is going to find a way to get to the championship. New England's got a good defense. They're going to get after Jarrett Stidham, but Sean Payton is a good coach. I don't like the way he kind of like falling apart with his attitudes over the last 6 or 7 years, crying about the officials and going after Russell Wilson and all this other kind of crap. No, you can keep that part of Sean Payton, but devising game plans and winning football games, oh, I like Payton. Always like Payton. So don't count Payton out just because the starting quarterback is out of the game. Now I can see if he got hurt in the first quarter of the championship game. Now you stuck with the backup, but now the backup gets all the snaps, and you can line up somebody to replace him if necessary. So this actually helps the Broncos with the timing. So I'm going to go with an upset here. So I'm looking at Denver and the Rams to play in the Super Bowl. That's my early thoughts on that. So there you have it. The Bears, okay. Why say, okay, I'm not saying this is a sports show, William Standard, and I'm not going to answer that. I didn't see that earlier. And this guy, Caluminium, he had a question, but he just not going to ask. So I'm going to leave that alone. But I don't see Mr. Carter on here today. Maybe he'll show up tomorrow and see what he has to say about the Bears losing. I wasn't going to give him a hard time. I'm just going to be here to let him know that I didn't forget about him. So we're going to go with that. But get back to jump time tomorrow. Be back on about 6:30, 6:40. And hold up. You picking Denver with Knicks out? Who's their backup quarterback? They're going with Jarrett Stidham. He used to play with the Patriots. So that'd be a good storyline there. I just think that just because you lose your quarterback don't mean you're going to lose. Now, if Stidham gets out there and lays a complete egg, then they can't beat New England like that. But they do have the home field advantage. Evidently, they got the support of the league by getting those bad defensive calls. And the defense is pretty good. And they got an opportunity to do something. So, yes, JC, I'm going to take Denver to knock off New England. Should be interesting. But I'm fixing to get up out of here, JC. You and Selmo. I think Selmo's gone. And T-Mill 45. I think he checked out on me. T-Mill, I hadn't seen you in a while, man. Subscribe and hit me up sometime. Maybe we can get together an interview. I'm about to get old JC and Selmo together for an interview if I can get them. But Larry Strickland, man, have a good day, man. I'll tune in tomorrow. No, it won't be 6 o'clock. I'll definitely be on by 6:45. That's give me about 15, 20 minutes before the bell rings. So it's like I call it a morning sports bite. And I'll be back on in the morning. So the rest of the day, I'm going to get ready for this championship game tonight. Got a basketball game at 5. Seems like basketball, these high school games always run right into football. As you know, basketball is just something to do. The football comes around. And in this case, it actually works out because it's something to do to get you ready for kickoff. So the timing works out well this time. So I don't have a complaint. But Larry, JC, Selmo, T-Mill, you guys have a great day. Appreciate you hollering at me. And I see you guys in the morning. This is Sports for Real. I am out. Oh, let me tell you this before I go. The Steelers, they talking to Mike McCarthy. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.